Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Owner's Box. I'm Billy Koch, founder and managing partner of Little Red Feather Racing Club. Joining me alongside, as always, the lovely and Walt Disney-ish Michelle Yu.
Oh, I like it, Walt
Yeah,
Disney.
you like that?
Yeah.
Fresh off her trip to Saudi Arabia. Michelle, how was the trip?
The trip was really good. Getting home was not great, but
I
getting
heard
there
you
was
were a bit of a
fine.
turkey.
Yeah, exactly. I apparently there was a huge snowstorm in Turkey. I didn't know it snowed in
I mean, who
Turkey.
knew? You
And
didn't check
then,
the weather?
well, no, because it was just layover city,
Right.
so I didn't even think about
How
it.
long
And
were you
so
stuck there?
20 hours with no suitcase or anything.
What did you do? A lot of
So
TikTok videos?
Lafitte was on my flight also. So I was like, well, what should we do? We don't understand that airport, do you? So I looked up what's the number one thing to do in Turkey. And it was visit the Blue Mosque and the Hagia Sophia. So I found us a really great hotel. We took a cab out to go see the Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque, which coincidentally are about a stone's throw apart. We ate
Phenomenal.
a Turkish bagel on the streets of Turkey. And then we had to go shopping for clothes. So we went to the mall and then had dinner and then went back to the airport the next morning.
Amazing.
It was fun.
Amazing.
I mean, I would never go to Turkey. If you're like, hey, let's go on a vacation. I'm not like, oh, let's go to Istanbul.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool to get to go because it wasn't like a bucket list destination. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
That I got to go see. It was awesome.
Well, more
We were,
importantly,
what's crazy? We were driving and there was a wolf on the side of the freeway.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I couldn't get my phone out in time, but
that would have been a good TikTok for you.
I know.
Couple things of note. I just want to let everybody know we have Tom Ryan joining us today. A man of intrigue, a man of mystery, a man who
of very nice suits.
He had a mustache for a while. He likes to
Oh,
wear.
I wonder if he still has it.
So he loves Twitter or X. So we'll find out. I'm gonna ask him why he has to tell us about all the names of his horses. Not really. Maybe I just don't understand social media.
Well, we all like to know where names come from. Are you not fascinated by names?
I am, but I don't I just named a couple horses. I don't put it out on Twitter.
Well, tell us some of your names.
I named an upstart colt follow-up.
Okay, I like that.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
And a collected colt out of the mare Rose of Cairo. We named him Sands of Time.
Oh, that's good too.
There you go.
Those are both great names. See, your names are just there's a reason. It has to do with the parents, and it's very easy to connect the dots in yours.
Right.
Right?
So, yeah.
And so
that's how it's supposed to be.
But when Tom names his horses and when you see
Rothschild
and them naming theirs, they're naming them after either locations or historical people. So they're telling you about
into the names of people too much,
Yeah.
Rodriguez, all the I don't know.
Who was Rodriguez named after? Alex Rodriguez?
I guess. I don't know. We can find out when Tom joins us. He's running late. So we're gonna talk.
Well, technically, he's 4:30, so he has 7 minutes.
He just emailed
texted us. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's running late. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about Michelle's trip. We're gonna talk about one of the greatest races we've seen in a long time.
Oh my gosh!
The Saudi World Cup, which was incredible. Forever Young, getting his day in the sun. I rhyme all the time. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. That was pretty awesome, Michelle. I mean, what a race. Listen, I'm going to get your take because you were there watching the race even live. Did you think Romantic Warrior was home free? Was he home Jerome, as Trevor would say?
I like watching it live. I was like, oh my gosh, he's going. And I was like, Forever Young doesn't know. Rayu doesn't know that Romantic Warrior is gone, right?
Yeah.
And then when he opened up, I was like, is he really just that good? And then when they switched Forever Young out and he was bearing down, I'm like, oh, this stretch is so long. He might get there. But I think that James McDonald has taken a ton of heat for that move. I did not hate that move.
Yeah, I didn't either.
It wasn't because he had an extended run that he got
I think it was instant reaction. oh, why'd he move early? Why'd he move early? Blah, 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 blah. But I think after you've kind of heard from everybody and
Mhm.
kind of looked at the race, it wasn't that like outrageous. It's not like he moved at the half-mile pole and like,
Right?
you know what I mean? Like opened up. He went around horses. He went wide and took the lead, and he wasn't.
Opened up. He opened up the
Yeah,
lead.
I mean, he was just kind of looked like he was doing it on his own, actually.
Yeah. I
So
thought that horse was so, so impressive.
I thought they both were
Um,
impressive. Was that a better win for Forever Young or a better loss for Romantic Warrior for their reputation?
Such a good question. I mean, Forever Young deserved the international grade 1. I feel like he has earned that, and it just solidified kind of like where he belongs and where Japan belongs. I don't think Romantic Warrior it was like a Zenyatta blame, right? Like, I don't think he
Right.
lost a step in getting beat
Especially
at
running
in
on
the
the
Shadow
dirt.
Wire.
Especially running
Huh?
on the dirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's never gonna run the dirt again, right? That
Look, we're a positive show. Like, let's give both horses credit and all the connections credit for an insane race. Michelle, any other good funny stories? Because you usually come back from Saudi. First of all, I have to say your coverage was excellent. Your outfit was great. Looked like you got a hat like at last minute or something. Or
yeah. Like, literally on air, the girl's, like, running over with the hat. It flew in from Dubai with Carolyn Seymour, and she
wow,
didn't get to the track, but she found someone that was coming to the track, and then it was, like, a whole ordeal.
amazing.
So, yeah, I did get that a little last minute.
Were you pleased
Um,
with the coverage?
yeah, I thought we had good coverage. I was very disappointed because at the end, we were like in a big hold waiting for MBS to come over and do like the trophy presentation, and we didn't get to the two pieces of sound that I thought were paramount, which was James McDonald, which we did air like later and it's on social media, but like I think it
Sure.
just would have been a really great part of our actual broadcast. And then I believe Tom had caught up with the owner of Forever Young or maybe of Romantic Warrior. I don't even that one didn't even make the broadcast because
Mm,
the where he followed him off to was like in an area we didn't get reception, and
gotcha.
he was like such so bummed it didn't get like transmitted back because that would have been great
That'd be
also.
really okay. I mean, we should also give credit to Straight No Chaser and My Racehorse and
Mhm.
Dan Blacker, who proved again that they are the head honcho in the sprint division. Looked pretty easy for Straight No Chaser. I didn't even look at the field that closely, to be completely honest, but he dominated.
Yeah, I mean the horses that were formidable were horses he had already bested in the Breeders' Cup, and he had shipped over extremely well. So on paper, there really didn't appear to be a lot of horses that could challenge him,
But
and
you
that's
still
how it.
got to make it. You still got to get there. You still
Yeah,
got to train on a new surface. Give Dan and his team credit for doing a great job with Straight No Chaser. And
and
it's
that horse dominated. He didn't just win; he
no, he's
dominated.
dominant. Johnny V was
Mhm.
like just an easy ride for him. And then Dan Blacker comes back this weekend with, I believe, who might be the favorite in the Kilrow Mile.
Oh, El Potente.
El Potente, yeah. So
Yeah,
a really good run for Dan, who had some issues wherever that was a couple years ago. I don't even know when that was now,
last
but
year,
has
last
last
year.
year and has
Mhm.
bounced back. I know he's a very likable chap, so to speak.
Also the Japanese had just a great night again. Shin Emperor finally got his big
He's a
W,
beast.
and he's oh yeah, I
Woo!
love that they tried something new. They're like, "Look,
Just go.
chasing hasn't worked. Let's just go." And it worked out. And they had that really nice filly that won the 1351 that I
Mm,
cannot say her name because I just butcher it. So the city in Italy.
gotcha. City in
And
Italy.
I feel like she can win the Breeders' Cup as good as she
Really?
looked.
Okay. Good
Breeders'
call.
Cup
I
mile.
like the bold call.
Calling that early. We can pull this back up come Breeders' Cup time.
That'd be great. We'll go back to the archives.
Mhm.
I want to do something
Um,
fun with you. I hadn't even told you about this, so we're
oh
not going
boy.
to do it today, but maybe we'll do it next week because I heard this. I listened to a certain channel of podcasts constantly. It's called The Ringer. If you guys ever listen, and they do a lot of sports and a lot of entertainment stuff. Like I listened to their White Lotus podcast after it's done. We will listen to the Severance podcast tomorrow after it's done. I'm assuming you're watching Severance and White Lotus. Yeah, no.
Never
Okay.
seen a single
But
episode.
they
Which one
love
should I watch?
they have this one show called The Big Picture,
Okay.
and they do drafts. So they'll do like the 2009 movie draft, and there's four people, and they'll do a draft, and they have to draft one movie that made over $100 million, one movie that's a horror film, one movie that's a comedy, one, whatever it is, and they have like categories, and they draft each category. Well, I thought it would be fun for you and I, since the Derby's coming up, and then we can do this again at Breeders' Cup,
Okay.
that we take an era and then we draft, me and you, our Derby lineup. Like we get 5.
Cool. All right, I
And
like it.
so and then we can send it out to our huge audience on Twitter through the In the Money Media Network. And then we can take a vote on who picked the better team. So we could say, okay, we're going to do the 80s, right?
Right.
So it starts in 1980 through 1989, and then you and I'll draft our team.
All right.
Or something, or we could pick 80s and 90s, or 2 at once. We'll see what happens, how it works
So
out.
Tom Ryan is spot on time. Are you ready to bring him in?
Let's go.
Hold on, Tom, cover your face so we don't know if you have a mustache or not, and then we're gonna vote. Okay, here we go.
I'm
We're
guaranteeing you he's wearing a cool hat. He's wearing a cool hat. No,
Does he
no
have a
cool
mustache?
hat.
Yes or no? Yes
He's
or
doing
no?
this from the Uber. I think he has the mustache. Yes. Yes. Yes, from the Uber.
so
I love this.
Wait,
the mustache is alive and well.
Why do we still have the mustache?
He loves the mustache.
Hey,
That's his look.
It's a winner. It's a winner.
Yeah.
What does your wife say about the mustache?
Hey, my wife's a supporter, I have to tell you.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, it's just Zoe and I then that are not the supporters. Everybody else likes it.
I've never seen Zoe so anti something in my life. But,
Tom, though, it's true, though, if you're a good looking guy like yourself, and I'm going to throw myself into that category, you want to try to do things to throw people off, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why I have this hideous beard right now.
Yeah, a little bit of shock factor is good every now and again, right?
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on a big weekend, and basically on a huge year already. We have so many Derby prospects. I don't even know where to start with you. I have so many things to go over. Let's talk about your why we put. I asked Michelle this. What is the thing about you wanting to name all the horses on Twitter and you throw that out? Like,
I like it, by the way. Fan.
Michelle likes it. I'm like, I don't know. Am I supposed to be doing that?
I don't know. Like, I think we're all talking about trying to develop new fans and trying to have people feel more involved. Like, we have certain big days of the year that everybody's involved, but what's wrong with a Monday and Thursday? People getting excited about a horse name, something to look forward to, something for people to put in a black book.
Is that a group decision? Does it go through Connecticut and Starlight? So you get to name all the horses.
I named the horses. It's we blend it a little bit. As you will tell, we have named a horse after every monument in Boston.
Those are the Saul horses.
Yeah, exactly. So like we've done all that. Like I think we've almost exhausted that, to be honest with you. So it's a little bit of it's a little bit too big a group to make it a committee decision, to be honest with you. And it's and what's interesting I think about naming horses too is people kind of name a horse and then they get very attached to that individual horse. And that, we've named a lot of we've some wonderful names of very, very, very good show jumpers. And it
happens to the best.
It happens.
But I always say, and Michelle can stand by that, I always say good horses have good names, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I hope so. Look, we make a bit of an effort. Look, we put a lot of work into putting our partnership group together, identifying the quality of stock and trying to buy them and trying to manage them. And I think at least they deserve a little bit of time and effort in trying to put what we consider good names on them. It's I suppose it's just a matter of opinion, but we feel like a good name can it helps create a following for a good horse.
Now, do you reserve all these names that you?
We don't. A lot of people think no.
Newton just happened to be available.
Newton happened to be available, and I went through a period of trying to save names. The issue with that is it's $100 a name.
A year, $100 a name a year.
Oh, I mean that's expensive for you guys.
Well, it is if you're trying to reserve like 20 or 30 names.
Yeah, like it turns into thousands of dollars. So, like we just don't do it. Look, I named a horse today, Rio Grande. I named a horse.
Great movie.
Yeah, we named one Christopherson a few days ago. We've just landed on some nice names this year, and it's a bit of luck of the draw. Thankfully,
What's your favorite name?
Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Come on. Right now it's cornucopian or whatever his name is.
Well, right now Citizen Bull.
Citizen Bull is the best. I'm gonna go out here I'm gonna go out my limb because everyone keeps talking about like all the Bobs and where they stand, and they love Barnes and they love cornucopian, and Citizen Bull is the best.
Okay.
Watching them work,
Tom Ryan's in a tunnel. He's in the dark. Tom, hopefully you can hear us. How did take us back in time? How did the Avengers? I'm calling it the Avengers just because that's people know it by. How did it start? Was this your idea?
Yes, I will take some humble credit for that. It was. Look, we had been involved in partnerships in prior years with Winstar and others, and we were very fortunate to be part of Justify. And through that experience, my personal experience was that Baffert was one of one, and I felt very adamant that we needed to be more actively involved in California and in his barn. And I remember being in London. We were at, it must have been Ascot or something, and we were having a big lunch and we had a big discussion. And it was at that point it was decided we would try to forge ahead and put together the people to do it. And I called Bob and almost sheepishly asked him if he would consider it, and thankfully his answer was yes. And,
I think it worked out for everybody.
I think it worked well for everybody. It's been a phenomenal group of people to work with. And I mean from a horseman standpoint, with dealing with the Pasquales and Mike Marlowe's and Jimmy Barneses of the world, and the Betos and Erics and Wands, and getting to know those riders and the commitment that they have to the horses and the results that sometimes we're fortunate enough to have. And then our own partners like Saul and Jack and all those guys. There's been some people drop in, drop out, and we've had one guy cycle back this year. He was out for 4 years. He's back in, and it's great to see it all play out. Stone Street, enormous supporter of ours as well. John Moynihan is, he's a good friend and he's a good judge, and hopefully everyone feels like they're being rewarded for their support.
I'm gonna ask a tough question, and this is, we're very positive on this show. Obviously, Michelle and I are both, we're friends of yours, and we appreciate what you've done. That being said, and this, I don't want this to sound hypocritical because I run a partnership, but it's kind of a different partnership. You're in a partnership with billionaires, people who could obviously be in the game on their own, and now we've teamed up and we're buying a specific type of horse for a specific area in California. Is that good for the game?
Yeah, look, what I would say about that, and I often think about it because people often kind of point that sword at me a little bit. And, Barbara continues to do what she probably did before now. Like, she has good fillies with Steve. She has colts with us. She races a few homebred colts herself. I think this is additive to what she was doing. Saul, I think this is additive to what Saul's doing. He's partners with you, and Saul's partners with a lot of people, on every coast and on a few continents for that matter.
Yeah.
And Jack is the same way. Jack has colloquial. He's got all those other nice horses on the East Coast with different trainers. He's got probably a heavier part of his budget in California now, but that's probably also due to he feels it's justified. Excuse the pun. So, like, I see the point, but I do think they're all continuing to play outside of what they're contributing to our syndicate. And I think then the other smaller, lesser known partners, they probably wouldn't be playing if they weren't playing with us. This
Yeah,
gives them the exact blend and spread that they're looking for. They want to have some high stakes capital invested to give them Saturday afternoon results, and gives them a decent spread of going out and being able to participate in 18 to 20, 22 runners on per vintage. It gives them a chance to come up with a horse. Like, it's very hard, as everyone knows. Like, if you go out with some capital and you say, well, I want to buy into two horses. Like, I mean, two shots is it's just hard.
right.
That's that's the that's the model, right? The model is to have a little piece of a bigger spread. And so,
Yeah,
look, I hear it. I would also have the argument to kind of contribute back and say, I do think our model has inspired other people to go out and find partners and create partnerships and bring more people into the game and build on what they already had. Like, I I hope we're inspiring, not creating a detraction.
yeah, no, that's you answered it. I think to the best of your ability. I think there's listen. We all love California. I know you've been a big proponent. You're on Twitter all the time. You're very outspoken in trying to get horses to California. I've maintained, even on this show and with Michelle, and I think in private conversations with you, that it's very difficult to compete in Southern California on an island with a guy like Bob Baffert. With all due respect, he's the best in the business. He's got the most ammo. So what is, in my opinion, what has happened is a lot of people, whether it's the Phil D'Amatos, the Mark Latts, the John Sadlers, they've stopped going to the sales and buying two-turn dirt colts because we just can't compete. How does that change? Like, what do we do? Because I know you're big into Southern California and I know you have some ideas to fix it, but I think that's one of the issues.
Yeah, and look, I hear that, but I don't think that this is a new revelation. Like,
It's
if you
not.
look at the history of any of these races, Bob's been winning these races for not a decade, decades.
Right.
He's won, 10 upwards of 10 of most renditions of any good grade estate there is in California. So I don't know whether it's just that people are a little bit more hypersensitive to it now. Like, the reality is, the guy is the star of the sport. He's definitely the star of the Californian circuit, without
No question.
question. The guy wins Kentucky Derbies at a 26% clip.
That's it.
Yeah, you know. So, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not, like, it's very hard to apologize for being successful, right?
100%. Yep.
So, I'm not. I'm never going to take that stance.
Yep.
My stance is buy a faster horse. Someone beats you, buy a faster horse.
That's a
No.
great thing. That's a great answer. That's a good answer.
You
I
know,
like that.
but like, you look at Glass filly the other day, the Vekoma filly.
Oh,
She
she was
ran a
Oh
unbelievable.
yeah, she was
she ran a
awesome.
hole in the wind. Like,
Yeah.
that's a good filly, right? It's not that it can't be done. You just need a faster horse. And like, that's an arrogant thing to say, but I'm not trying to say it in an arrogant way. Like, I mean, the reality is, Bob shops. You go to Keenan and be there for book 4, and you'll see Bob Baffert every day in that back ring watching every horse. That's how
Absolutely.
it's done. He works it. He works it. He's always worked it. None of this is by accident. This is
No,
by
he's the best at that.
deliberate, intentional. He's gone out after it. He makes no assumption that his barn is going to be full of good 2-year-olds next year. He
Yeah.
ensures it. He goes after it. So, I mean, like, hard work is the ethic that man is puts in to keep that barn well oiled is incredible. And then to keep the staff that he has around him, it's 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 not really a mystery to me.
No, yeah, you're right about that. Tom Ryan joining us here on the Owner's Box. Go ahead, Michelle. I've totally taken over the interview.
No, it's great. Tom, since we know that Bob had a couple of years where he didn't get to run at Churchill, obviously he's back this year. You guys opted last year to not disperse horses and just wait it out with Bob. What does it feel like now to be back on the trail and back on the trail in such a big way?
Yeah, it feels right.
Yeah. I thought he'd
Feels
have a
right.
bigger smile, to be honest with you.
The mustache line.
Hey,
Smile.
we still have a long way to go. Like, it's all easy to talk now about, we've got this and this and this, but like, there's a lot to happen. A lot can happen in 2 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks. So it does feel like we have a nice group of horses lining up. It feels like they're being well managed to this point. It feels like we should have a shot to have some participation. But this is a game where you can't get too cocky because you'll be humbled pretty fast.
Do you
Well,
We've all been.
throw kind of like superstitions out the door? Like take a horse like cornucopian, right? We always say, oh, if you don't start at 2, you can't win the Derby. I mean, this horse just
that's
started, and people are like, he could win the Derby. It's to get in, it's going to be
Yeah,
a Hail
yeah,
Mary almost.
yeah. We don't think that way. Justified proved that. I'm not saying this horse is justified, but he certainly looks like he's a gifted horse. But like it's interesting. Everyone said, "Well, where are you going with this horse, this horse, this horse?" And like Bob always, he kind of gives the blasé answer. Well, I'm just going to nominate him everywhere and see. And it
Hmm.
genuinely does basically play out that way. Like Bob will work out who's working best,
hmm
and like Bob wants to win. Like Bob's
or
not.
who needs to stay home, or who's mentally
Yeah,
tough enough to
exactly,
travel. Right.
exactly. Like for the guys that have a horse, or it's it's a big plotting decision where they have to pick a spot and they have to
Hmm.
really book a jockey and work it out. Like Bob's he's in a more unique situation where he has the liberty to almost take a wait, see how the
Yeah.
horse is doing, and run the right horse in the right spot. And it's that's what makes Bob Bob.
That's a
How
good
does
way to
how does
describe
that
it.
affect your travel? Like, because you come to California
He's
a lot.
Delta
So do you
One,
go like
Michelle.
I'm
Hello, Delta One.
yeah, you just Delta One everywhere you go. Like whatever. What I mean, okay, if you run a horse in 2 big races on the same weekend, how do you pick which one to go to?
I go wherever Bob tells me. Um, look, I don't know, guys. Like I love coming to California for a start.
Well, it's
That's
better than the 3-degree weather and the raining and the snowing you've had in Kentucky.
Yeah, yeah. Look, if I could get my wife and kids to come out with me, it'd make it even more special. But they do come for Del Mar, and we really enjoy that time together. And Kentucky is bloody cold this time of the year. But that said, I do love Kentucky as well. It's a great, and we're just at that point with our kids where they're 6 and they're 8 and they're growing up, and it's all about developing, and it's all kind of magical. So you almost hate missing a moment, but you know. We talked about it last night, and they're watching the races this weekend, and they've bought into it too. So it's exciting that I've traveled. I've always traveled. I've never not traveled. So my kids they know me. They see the suitcase coming out and they go, "When are you coming back?" It's not. It's not kind of where are you going. It's when are you coming back. And, yeah, it's great. And
Yeah,
Katie is very involved too. So
I love it.
it's
That's
good.
awesome.
It's good.
Let me ask you a question. You're again. I'm going back to your outspokenness. You're not afraid to say how you feel, and obviously in California, and Michelle and I don't dodge it. We're in trouble. Like it's tough out here.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of horses. We have small fields. Our purses are less than a lot of states in the. Although we did have a recent purse increase at Santa Anita, we have a purse increase at Del Mar, which is really nice. How do we save California, Tom? I know that's a big, broad question. I could go on Twitter and find a 10-point solution from you, but what are the keys in your head?
I think the keys to me are that, this is the easy solution is to try work out a historical horse racing
Sure.
scenario where
Mhm.
we could do what Keeneland and Arkansas, and like all of these states are doing incredibly well because they do have the support of call it whatever you want. It's
Legislators,
Subsidies. They've got
subsidies.
subsidies.
subsidized purses, you know but that's probably a fairy tale too. Like it's not, maybe that isn't the answer to California. It is one answer. What's the probable outcome of that? I don't know. you know I feel we need to be positive. We need to really express to our legislators, express to our lobbyists how much this sport means to us, express to our constituents how important this sport is from a point of from an agriculture, from an employment, from entertainment. Like I always feel like we didn't do enough work on selling ourselves and what we are and how inspiring the sport is to so many people. It's a Horse racing was in a very unique situation for hundreds of years, where it was basically the only sport in town. It was the only sport that you could basically gamble on
Yeah.
outside of going to Las Vegas or Jersey or something. And we almost got too complacent about it. Like, we knew that sports betting was coming. We knew
Yeah.
all of these other things were coming, but we didn't really do enough to build a moat around the industry. And Kentucky is fine. Like, Kentucky's in a great place. Like I said, I mean, talk about a society that loves horse racing. I mean,
Oh,
it's
it's
and
amazing. It's
there's,
night and day. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And there's also a lack of competition. Like, we have college basketball and but really, outside of horse racing, we don't have professional sports
Yeah.
to,
Right.
so it's in a very unique situation and we are also the home of the Kentucky Derby, where Churchill are pouring gazillions of dollars into Churchill Downs.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
good on them.
Let me let
They're
me
doing a
throw
great
something.
job there.
Let me throw something at you. Because you mentioned purses, and I literally, someone asked me this the other day, and I thought it was interesting. It says, "So we raise the purses. What does that do? Are we gonna? Is it attract new customers? Do people come in now from Kentucky and Oakland and New York? Like, because I feel like just because you raise purses, yeah, people might get back into the game. But what's that going to really do, Tom?
Yeah, look, I think raising purses at least gives you it keeps you on an even keel at the very least, right? I think there's the notion that raising purses is going to attract new trainers. I'm not sure that that's going to be the case. I think what we need more horses. It's not
Yes,
necessarily more trainers. We need more horses in California. So, and I'm not look, Bob's Bob has a deep bench. He doesn't necessarily have a big barn. Bob has 100-ish head of horses. That's
right.
his what he has now. He has a fresh barn of horses turning
Every
over.
year.
Hmm.
That is what it is. But, like, I think with purses in line with Ellis and maybe Aqueduct and maybe some of the other kind of
Mhm.
middle, it gives people the option to say, you know what, trying to win one in Saratoga is not that easy. Trying to win one
Yeah.
in Keeneland's not that easy. Like, and they're not. They're 14 horse fields across the board. So, like, if I'm running for 100 grand, I call all things equal. Well, do I want to run in a 8, 9 horse field and 10 horse field in Delmar, or do I want to not know if I can actually get into a race
Yeah,
in some of these other places? Like, it's very
Hmm.
hard to get into these races. It's fine for these states to say they're putting up 100 grand races or 110 or $120,000 races, but there's still only 12 horses to get in. It's
yeah,
easy.
That's a lot
It's
of people
easy.
don't realize that, really.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
say
Like,
like, "Oh, you're in California, you can't get in 'cause your races don't go." On the flip side, you're on the East Coast, your races might go, but you're on the outsides, way far outside looking
all the
in.
time, all the time. We had a filly in Kentucky this year, and we ended up we actually had to ship her to Woodbine, and we broke her maiden first time. We got excluded 2 or 3 times.
Oof.
wow,
So it's not all just as it's depicted. You just have to kind of understand the real understand really what's happening. And, like, Kentucky Downs is great, $160,000 maidens, but good luck. It's like a lottery to get in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Tough to
Yeah.
win. It's
The
tough to win.
nominations
So
sometimes have like 200 horses on there.
Yeah,
yeah. So, I mean, I don't know that that's good either. I think it's look. I've talked about revenue sharing. I've talked about all of these sort of potential solutions for the industry to think about this as in each state or each region is a team.
Hmm.
Like,
yeah,
we need all the teams to survive and thrive, and I think that's where we need to start kind of centering our focus and just thinking about, are we going to be an industry where we have 15,000 foals a year or 8,000 foals a year? Like, what's going to happen here? Like, when I came
yeah.
to America at first, I mean, I think we were breeding. It was in the high 30s anyway, 38,000 foals,
Hmm.
something like that. It was a huge number, and again, like, you see how it's compromised so many small racetracks and regions, and I'm not necessarily saying that it's a restructuring isn't a like it's a good thing in a sense, as long as we
Understood.
restructure to have have a sport that's got growth, a sport that's got a future, and a sport that where we can see where we can continue to attract the right caliber and the right fans and you know it's it is make racing great again. Like that's what we need to. That's what we
Maybe
have
we
to
should
think
get
about.
Trump.
you
Maybe we should get
so
Trump.
yeah, so
Well, certainly it wouldn't get the Kentucky guys who just rip on your revenue sharing ideas constantly.
yeah. Well, look, Damon has to do that. Whatever. I'm actually good friends with Damon, and I get it, right? Those guys fought hard for that
Right.
Kentucky money. They fought
Mhm.
hard for it, and I understand that. But my response to that is they need to be a little bit more considered, and not considered, but a little bit more thoughtful about what's the cause and effect of, let's say, all of the money being in New York, Kentucky, and Arkansas.
Yeah.
Like that what is the cause and effect of that? Like, the reality, as much of a fire as we think we have in, well, I shouldn't use that term, but as
Yeah.
much trouble as we feel we are in California at the moment, Florida's in bigger trouble because,
Yeah.
like, the reality is they don't have a plan B.
Right.
Like, there's a whole lot of conceptual plan Bs, but who's actually going to step in and do it without knowing where the industry is going?
Right.
Yeah,
Makes a lot of
that's
sense.
fair.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Where are you
Ooh.
staying? Do you stay at the Le Meridian? We don't want to give away your location. Do you check in under like an assumed name?
Clark Gable.
Yeah.
I,
There you go. There you
Tom,
go.
I want to ask a question. Do you have a lucky suit that you wear ever, or whatever looks good?
Yeah. No, it's typically whatever jacket I buy at whatever airport I was in last. I gave up buying expensive suits because that doesn't end well, and
Right.
I buy whatever fits me at whatever particular month of the year it is.
That's fair.
So I have a couple of skinny ones and a couple of winter jackets too.
Yeah. I have no skinny nothing in my wardrobe right now. I'm going to be honest with you both and everybody listening that
You don't keep skinny stuff, so like because you keep thinking I'll lose the
no,
weight and I'll get back into that.
I'm just done. I'm
Oh,
just totally
you're
done. I
such
wish
a
I
good
was
person.
Tom and I worked out at the same place in Kentucky for a little while before I got super lazy.
Yeah,
You
well, I
did?
do. I still do, and yeah, we
Yeah.
miss you, buddy. We miss you.
I don't think so.
He's
I
like, we
don't
miss
think
you.
so. Tom
I,
Ryan,
I have one more. I have one more question. How do you change your focus while you're on the Derby Trail right now into like we're coming up on breeze up sales, right? How do you change your focus to like be
Ah,
like I have to look ahead to my next 2-year-old when I'm so excited about everything I have going on right now?
oh, I've always been busy, so I don't. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. You have to stay level, don't you? Because like
kind of, yeah.
I'm
there's
so
just
level. I'm like,
You
woo!
have
yeah,
Tom is
I have a rule with my trainers that they are just not to call me ever. I
yeah.
don't want my phone ringing ever. I literally I say to them, I will call you. I promise you I'll bug the shit out of you. Just don't
Yeah.
call me. Do you have that rule with Bob? Do you ever look at like 10 a.m. on a Thursday and the phone rings and it's Bob and you're like, oh no.
Uh, every now and again, I have a response text where this is a good news day. I
Yeah,
can't take it, but
right.
typically I take it on the chin pretty well because we keep a lot of broodmares globally. We keep a lot of stallions. We have a little kind of we have a lot of action, in this livestock, and with livestock you're going to have, the issues that come about, and there's some of this stuff is it's just unavoidable, and it happens, and you got to have a stomach for for unfortunate outcomes, and some of it's mares lose a pregnancy, or but like we've had them bitten by snakes, we have had them struck by lightning, we've had all kinds of things. All just when the vet calls you and say, "I've never seen this before," and it's like, yeah, I've heard
that
that
is
All
my
the
before.
time.
favorite call.
That's the
Right?
worst.
I've
Yeah,
never seen
Dude,
this
come
before.
on.
I don't know what to
Come on.
do.
Who are you? Give us a lineup for this weekend at Santa Anita because we know you got a lot of action. Who do we have?
Well, we've actually got Worcester running into Stymie in New York with Britain
Okay.
Trust.
Woo!
I think he's a genuine decent old. He's after winning his last three. I think he's legit in there. He's a legit old warrior. So we're excited about him. Look, Rodriguez to me is a cool horse. He's a horse. He's a little bit, we're learning as we go, but everything he's showing us and teaching us and is he's got no distance limitations that we can really identify. Pedigree wise, would agree with that. And physically, he's manning up. He's a May 20th baby, which is look, it doesn't really put any ceiling on what he can achieve. It's just
Mhm.
it's just a fact, So he's growing and developing as we go. And the other horse we're running is Mellencamp, and people are probably like, well, why is he in there? But he's fit, he's well, and his races, if you look through his form, he's just run with good horses.
Yeah.
Like back to the point that there's no bad maidens in California, right?
No.
So he's still a maiden, but they think Beza is a Santa Anita Derby horse. So,
Mhm.
like, I mean, that's what he's been contending with. So it'll be interesting. He's a beautiful horse, and he has. You would imagine the race is between the top three favorites with journalism and Barnes and Rodriguez, but it's these smaller fields can be tight, and a horse like Mellencamp shouldn't be completely discounted.
You spend a lot of time with Bob. This is my last question, then we'll let you go. I know you have probably
I
10
called him
calls.
15 minutes.
You're
Sorry,
okay.
but
You're okay.
Got
like
traffic.
so many times in races that we're in, especially in turf races with Phil D'Amato, he's got 2 or 3 horses in there. He beats us pretty much every single time. You don't have that same experience with Bob, but there are times. There's a good chance Barnes is going to win this weekend.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Because I know how it feels for me. I'm always like happy for Phil. I'm always like, hey, congratulations, man. But deep down inside, in parts that I don't, I'm like, God damn it. Like, do you feel that way, or what's the true assessment?
So the day that was most gut wrenching for me was the day that Taiba beat Messier in the Santa Anita Derby.
Oh.
Yeah,
I just thought we had that. Messier was an exceptional horse. He was
yeah.
exceptional, but anyway, it didn't work out that day, and that day is a day that'll. Oh, I wanted to win that race, and it was nothing. I had nothing against Taiba. Like I love Taiba, and he
But
turned
it
out
was
he
Bob. But it was
yeah,
your trainer. It was your guy.
yeah. He ended up winning three more Grade Ones. So it was what it was. But like, look, what I will say is, I've never seen a scenario where we got beat because somebody didn't try hard enough.
Sure.
And I think as long as that's always the case, the outcome is the outcome. So all you can do is ask a horse for his best, put him in the best position possible, put the best rider you can on him, and I mean after that, it's sometimes there's so many factors when the gate opens that, like Madacat Road last weekend, the gate opened, bang, he's on top,
Yeah.
and he ends up going 22:45. He didn't go 23:47.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was there fighting at the top of the stretch was like huge. But that's the winning and losing of that race.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know.
When you talk about jockeys, I think one of the most common questions I get, Michelle, I bet you get it too, is how much of it is the horse and how much of it a jockey? And I'd love to know Tom Ryan's answer on that.
Okay, so I would have said in my naivety that the jockeys all weighed the same and they all had one job. It's such a dumb view. Good jockeys are worth £10.
Yeah. So if you had to put a percentage on, it's 50-50, 80-20, what would you say?
I don't really know how to exactly equate that, but the
It's horse
decision.
dependent though, isn't it?
Well, it is, but it's their ability to make a good decision in a like when there's a
Split
gap
second.
coming, or when like it's just a
Right.
split-second decision. Their athleticism, and it's their balls. Like I mean, the ability and bravery of these jockeys is just off the charts. Like
Amazing.
like they just don't think twice about it. They just move. They
Mhm.
move, and they don't interfere with a horse's momentum. They add to his momentum, and
Yeah.
that's what makes them good. Like and like I was watching Rachel King this week. She was in Saudi.
Yeah.
Rachel was a sat with us at the Breeders' Cup this year. She rode a Grade One winner for us in Australia, and then she bounces into Japan and she wins a Grade One
Mhm.
over there. The first woman in history to do it. Like you look at Rachel, you look at James McDonald, you look at Pratt, you look at Ira, you look at these JJ. They're fabulous athletes. Like Mike Smith, Johnny Velasquez. Like how fit are these men in their 50s?
Incredible.
It's
Better
incredible.
than
Better than me.
Billy's.
It's incredible.
You said the
Yeah.
same thing, Michelle. All right. Well, we're talking about jockeys. Let you go after this.
Oh,
You're in the Derby. Wait.
no, wait. I want to know
What?
what he thought about James McDonald's ride then, because we were
Oh,
talking
that's a
about
good
it before you
question.
came on.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a big fan of J Mac, and we use him. We use him as often as we possibly can. I'd say J Mac's position was he was taking dirt. He had a lot of horsing under him. He he winged him,
Yep.
and it's one of those rides where if you ping that and you get it right, you're a hero.
Mhm.
When you get beat the way he got beat, to go, well, why didn't you just wait for the gap?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's hard to criticize that ride. It's
That's what we said.
it's it's
Yeah,
it's easy
agreed.
to criticize it, but it's hard to criticize it, right?
Mhm.
It's like
Agreed.
everyone's like I'm in the backseat of a car at the moment. I can criticize the driver. It's everyone. You can't. Like you just got to. That's a very tough decision in that moment. And somebody asked me the question, and I'm not sure I know the answer. Is there a big video screen in the infield?
Michelle was there.
Yes.
And I've been there a couple of times, and I just couldn't remember. There is one.
Yeah, there
Maybe
Yeah,
is.
he's
yeah. So I don't know. Like again, like if he had it to do over again, would he change his?
maybe
If you
not.
wait, if you
Maybe
wait for
not.
forever
Yeah.
if you wait for Forever Young to move though, then you're chasing him trying to catch him.
I
And
don't know. I was
like
fine
it
with it.
just you can't underestimate how good Forever Young is. Like to me, Forever
Yeah.
Young he won the Derby. Not like he should have
Yeah.
won the Derby.
Mhm.
And I mean, if that had happened, then you're talking about like one of the all-time greats. And look, if that horse shows back up out here in California for the Classic this year, look out.
Yeah, for sure.
He's really learning how to fight
Be
and
a
win
runner.
and he's got it. He's got it down. That horse. He's the real deal.
I've never asked this question before of any guest on our show, and we're
I'm
we're
scared.
talking about jockeys. You're in the Derby. It's a Baffert. It's a beautiful, expensive son of Into Mischief, and you get one jockey at any peak of their careers. You can go back in time. Doesn't have to be current. You get one guy that you trust to bring this horse home. Who is it, Tom Ryan?
Oh my goodness! Like,
That's a hard question.
That's a hard.
it is a hard question
No,
because
you
like
have to answer it, Michelle. You answer it first. Then go.
I'm old enough to have kind of seen Jerry Bailey's, and I've seen what Mike Smith can do. I've seen what Gary Stevens can do. Like I even seen Lester Pickett ride for
You're
Christ's
not going
sake.
to hurt anybody's feelings.
No, but like I will tell you, I thought the year that Pratt put together last year
It was amazing.
was pretty
Mhm.
sensational. Like I
Yeah.
seen, from National Treasure into Pegasus to the Met Mile to Moira in the Breeders' Cup. I mean, Pratt knows
The
what's going
Sierra
on.
Leone.
Zero, yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, it's
I mean, you're putting him on a
You're
very high
going
pedestal.
modern day
Yeah, you went
rider. That is
modern
pretty
day.
impressive.
yeah. Look, I'm happy to put him on a pedestal. He deserves it.
Okay. Okay. Michelle, who's yours, by the way?
I have no idea. I honestly, I would
Really?
have. I don't know.
You
I feel
have
like
to know,
I'd want to go
who's your
like an old
favorite guy?
school rider.
Who's the guy you trusted the most? Like Pink Eye? Mine is McCarran. I put Chris McCarran on.
McCarran.
Absolutely. I think he was smart. He was strong. I mean, the Touch Gold ride in the Belmont, Ali Sheba rides. I mean, when he rode Sunday
He was,
Silence, I think
yeah,
McCarran. That's me.
he was very good. But like I mean, there's so many of them. Like I mean, there's
Yeah,
so many brilliant guys when you start thinking about it. Like I
of
mean,
course.
but like Bailey was brilliant.
He
Like
was a
Bailey was
genius.
a
He was a genius.
genius. Like those guys just had great brains, like great
100%.
sense of what
Yeah.
was going on around them.
Yep.
It's like great the Gretzkys of the world or the Bradys of the world. Or like they just have a sense. There's a different. They can see the play.
Don't bring up Brady. Michelle's still upset that he retired.
I have to say, like, yeah, hey, he's
Tom Ryan,
amazing.
we took up more of your time than you originally anticipated. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. Thank you for your candor.
candidness.
Yes, and your honesty, and we'll be rooting for you this weekend, man. Go get them.
And if you need any more help naming horses, I'm here.
Didn't work out great last time.
Any help. See you, Tommy.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye.
Tom Ryan joining us here on the Owner's
He's
Box.
so great. Honestly, he's so candid and he's got great ideas. And I really love reading what he has to say on X because he's so informative and he describes everything so well and answers questions really full from a different perspective. I completely respect everything that he has to say.
I thought the one comment that he made that stood out to me was the you can't, I don't know what he said, you can't argue with success, or you can't be upset about success.
Yeah, I'm not going to apologize over success.
I'm not going to apologize for being successful. And look, we've said this on this show. You and I have had this conversation. I'm glad I asked the question, Michelle, because he's right. Like, this is you can do whatever you want. You can form a partnership. You can spend more money than everybody else. They put their money where their mouth is. They happen to have the best trainer who has the best eye, and he has the most money. So guess what? You're going to have good horses every single year. And they've done that.
And I will still say this, as much as we, talk about Baffert and how good he is and everything, he still wins at 30%. That means he does lose 70% of the time.
Yeah,
right?
Because he's losing to his other horses.
Doesn't make it look good out here. But I appreciate what Tom has to say because I just feel like he gives us a really great perspective.
I do too. Michelle, we have a huge weekend coming up at Santa Anita, I'm sure. Big Cap Day, Saturday.
Such a big weekend.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I have to pull it up because there's so much stuff going on. I can't even process what is going on this weekend.
How do you still not have to wear glasses?
Well, I do when I drive at night.
Yeah. So reading, you can read everything.
Yeah, I can read everything. I got no problem reading. And my phone still has little text.
When you're on this screen, and mine's just little on my computer right now, do you look at me when you talk, or do you look at you?
I look at you mostly, although sometimes I look at the camera, which is up here. So that's my camera.
So when you're talking, you look at the camera. Okay.
Yeah, and then sometimes
I'm focus on you.
That's sometimes I'm looking at my other screens that right now I'm looking at what I'm pulling up for the big cap.
Nobody cares about this. While you're pulling this up, I want to make one really cool announcement that you don't even know about.
Oh.
On Monday, August 25th at La Valle Coastal Club, which is the old Morgan Run.
Write this down.
We are going to do the first ever LRF Cares charity golf tournament. It is called
finally getting back going.
It's done. We are calling it the Pacific Classic Challenge. And in accordance with Del Mar, thank you, Josh Rubenstein, for allowing me to use the name. And it's going to be awesome. There'll be jockeys out there. There'll be trainers. There'll be owners. We're going to minimum.
Does Zoe and I still get to do the beer cart?
Absolutely. We'll do something. You guys will be out there for sure. It's going to be a great day. We're going to probably announce everything the first week in April. We still have some work to do on, making sure everything's running right. And we have all the brochure and everything for people to sign up, a place for them to sign up. So we're working on that. It's probably going to take till about, I would say April 2nd. And then signups will be available. And it's going to be a blast.
That's
it's going to be awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, and we're going to get donations. We're going to get donations from around the San Diego area for gifts and for auction items. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be, I'm very excited about it. Yeah.
Yay.
I wanted to do this for the people who don't know, I've wanted to do this for 5 years, and I just took up golf about a year ago, and now I'm obsessed. And I videotaped myself swinging today, and I looked so bad that I'm embarrassed. And I
might have to get my clubs out of retirement for this.
There you go. You could get a team.
I should.
TVG should have everybody should have. Del Mar is going to have a team. All the jockeys are going to have 2 or 3 teams.
Yeah, the jockeys are going to beat everybody though. That's the problem.
I don't know. There'll be some good players out there.
All right. So coming up this weekend, like you mentioned, it is Big Cap weekend. So we have the Big Cap. There is the Big Cap party in the Chandelier Room presented by Kettle One. We've got a buffet in the front runner. We have the Fiesta de Santa Anita. So there's lucha libre, taco vendors, and family fun zone in the infield.
The accent was on there.
Thank you. And there's also the Californian vintage motorcycle show on the infield as well. So we are going to have like so much stuff going on from a stakes racing standpoint.
And great racing.
San Antonio Handicap. We have the presented by Yamava. We also have the Kilroe, the San Felipe, and the Buena Vista for our turf fillies. And then coming back on Sunday, we have the Santa Isabel for 3-year-old fillies as well.
Great weekend coming up at the Great Race Place.
Oh my gosh. And we have Mardi Gras, a Mardi Gras party trackside.
Oh, well, bring your beads.
More.
I'll bring my beads for you.
Something for everybody.
I'm bringing my beads, Michelle. No, stop it. You can't do that on the show.
Oh, sorry. We can say bad words, but no flashing.
No flashing. This
flashing.
thing will take over the internet if we do that. God forbid we go viral.
What did you think about Coal Battle, by the way?
Awesome.
How cool was that?
Amazing. I hope that horse wins the Kentucky Derby. I really do. My number one rooting interest right now is that horse.
My favorite is like his trainer Lonnie, been training for I think over 30 years. This is his first graded stakes win.
Incredible.
And he was like, I don't wake up thinking Derby. I just, wake up thinking horses. And now here we are. And you got to love a horse that breaks its maiden in Evangeline.
What a great story. It just goes to show that a good horse can come from everywhere. Special thanks to Tom Ryan. Michelle, you're the best. We'll do it again soon. We'll have a big week next week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.